All right, welcome. Today we're going on a pretty wild tour inside one of the most advanced factories on Earth. And guess what? It's your own body. We're going to follow a bite of food on its incredible journey from your plate to pure power, seeing how it becomes the very fuel that keeps you going. So let's dive in and see where this journey takes us. So, where does it all start? With a meal, of course. You look at a plate like this, it's full of color, nutrients, and just potential energy. You take a bite, it's delicious, but have you ever really thought about what happens the second you swallow? That's where our tour begins, right at the front door of the most efficient nutrient refinery in the known universe. Okay, before we get into the machinery, we gotta talk about the raw materials. Just like any high-tech machine, our bodies need the right kind of fuel to run properly. We're talking about a good mix of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, and minerals. If you don't get the right input, the whole system just can't work at its best. So what is a balanced diet, really? The key thing to remember is that it's not about restricting food. It's all about proportion. It's about getting that specific recipe of nutrients your body is crying out for, the stuff it needs to grow, repair itself, and just give you the energy to get through the day. This is the high-octane fuel we're going to be tracking. All right, the fuel is loaded up. First stop on our tour is the processing floor. This is where the big stuff gets physically broken down into smaller, much more manageable pieces. This whole stage is called mechanical digestion. And boom, it all kicks off right here in the mouth. Your teeth are the first line of machinery, and they don't just chew, they bite, they tear, they grind. They're physically smashing that food into little bits. Why? Well, this hugely increases the surface area. Think about it. A crushed sugar cube dissolves way faster than a solid one, right? It's the same idea. It's all about prepping the food for the chemical assault that's coming next. And just check out the engineering of a single tooth. That outer layer, the enamel, is literally the hardest substance in your entire body. We're talking stronger than bone. And underneath that shield, you've got living tissue, nerves, blood vessels, and the cementum that locks it all in place. It's an absolute masterpiece of biological design. Okay, food's all chewed up, time to swallow. And this brings up a classic piece of advice we've probably all been told, right? Don't talk with your mouth full. But what's the actual biological reason for that? Let's take a closer look. And here is exactly why. Check this out. As you swallow, this little flap of tissue, the epiglottis, acts like a traffic cop at a super busy intersection. It automatically swings down and covers the entrance to your windpipe, the trachea. This makes sure your food goes down the correct tube, the esophagus, and not into your lungs. If you're talking, you can mess with that perfect reflex, and that's when you can start to choke. But hey, the mechanical breakdown doesn't just stop with your teeth. Not even close. First, these amazing wave-like muscle contractions called peristalsis push the food down your esophagus. Then it lands in the stomach, which isn't just a holding bag. No way. It's a powerful muscular churner that mixes and pummels the food, basically turning it all into a thick paste. Okay, so our food has been crushed and churned into a paste. Now it's time for the really intricate part. We're leaving the grinders and moving into the chemical labs. This is where molecules get totally disassembled by an army of tiny, specialized agents called enzymes. This table here, it's basically the blueprint for our entire chemical refinery. And the big takeaway here is specialization. Just look at how different enzymes are sent out at specific spots to hit specific nutrients. It starts right in your mouth with amylase going after starch. Then pepsin in the stomach takes on protein. And by the time you get to the small intestine, it unleashes a whole cocktail of enzymes to finish the job on everything. And here's a pretty cool side note about the stomach. That hydrochloric acid isn't just there to help the enzyme pepsin do its job. It's also a powerful defense mechanism. It makes the stomach so acidic that it kills most of the nasty bacteria and germs that might have hitched a ride on your food. So it's not just for digestion, it's your body's first line of chemical defense. Now, there's another major player we have to talk about, and that's the liver. It makes something called bile, which is absolutely essential for digesting fat. But here's the twist. Bile doesn't have any enzymes. Instead, it acts like a dish soap. It takes big globs of fat and physically breaks them down into tiny little droplets. This process is called emulsification, and it creates way more surface area for the actual fat-digesting enzymes to attack. All right, let's recap. We've crushed it, we've churned it, and we've chemically zapped it. We've turned big, complex food molecules into simple sugars, amino acids, and fatty acids. So what's next? Well, this is maybe the most important step of all, actually getting those nutrients out of the digestive system and into the body. Welcome to Absorption Central. And this is the star of the show, this small intestine. And it is not small. It's about 6 meters. That's almost 20 feet long, all coiled up inside you. It's only called small because it's narrow. This incredible length gives a massive amount of time and space for the final bits of digestion and, most importantly, for absorbing all that good stuff. So let's zoom way in on the inside wall of the intestine. As you can see here, the surface isn't flat at all. It's covered in millions of these tiny finger-like folds called villi. These villi increase the surface area for absorption by a mind-boggling amount. In fact, if you could flatten out the inside of your small intestine, it would cover an entire tennis court. And what's really amazing is that inside every single one of these millions of villi, you have 2 different pickup systems working at once. You've got the blood capillaries, which suck up the simple sugars and amino acids and send them straight into your bloodstream. At the same time, this other vessel, the lacteal, absorbs all the fatty acids and sends them into a totally different network called the lymphatic system. It's an incredibly organized and efficient collection process. Okay, we've got the fuel. We've successfully extracted all those valuable nutrients. Now for the final stage, logistics. How in the world do we get these vital nutrients from the small intestine to every single one of the trillions of cells in your body that need them? The answer is this unbelievable network, your blood vessels. You've got arteries, veins, and capillaries, and you should think of them as the highways, main roads, and tiny neighborhood streets of your body's delivery system. They make sure all that freshly refined fuel gets exactly where it needs to go. And what's so cool is that each type of road is built perfectly for its job. Arteries have these thick, elastic walls, so they can handle the super high pressure of blood being blasted away from the heart. Veins have much thinner walls and these clever little valves to stop blood from flowing backward since the pressure is so low. And the capillaries, their walls are just one single cell thick. That makes them perfect for the final delicate handoff of nutrients to your body cells. So there you have it. From a simple bite of food through a whole system of mechanical grinders, chemical reactors, massive absorption surfaces, and a complex delivery highway, this all happens every single day without you even thinking about it. It's an absolutely incredible non-stop refinery. So the only question left is, considering the amazing work it does for you 24/7, what kind of high-quality fuel are you going to choose to give it next?